Smooth operator.
Oh man, you were going to get us a YouTube strike. You're going to get us. You're going to get us a YouTube strike, man. You can't play that. You got to remix
Well, I
it.
can play it. I can play a couple.
Is that one of those things you
Anyways,
like? Oh, if I only play 2 seconds of it, I'm okay.
yeah. But I got that coming. Don't worry, I got that hand down.
All right, we
But
got all the
anyways,
volume. Anyways,
yeah,
what's
I'm
going on, man?
not much out here in this freezing Carolina weather. Been 20 degrees for a few weeks now. This past week been very cold, unusual cold.
Oh yeah, I talked to my kin out there, and they didn't say anything about it, but that's to be expected right now, ain't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's just 20 degrees outside, and go to mix concrete stuff, and it don't mix up that. Kind of takes longer to do things. Then half
Yeah,
the crew don't show up.
yeah. People not showing up is just one of those things, man. Um, I think we're in that generation where they think they just go to the next job. They get fired from here to just go to the next job, which is okay. I mean, I ain't got no problem with that. If you're not happy where you're at, just go across the street and make more money.
But when you get guys trained up, one of them's not here, and the other one's not. The other one, everything's kind of. Then I have to go back there to the job site, do more physical work myself, keep things going. Puts me back to
Yeah,
work.
that keeps you out of
That's
trouble, huh?
yeah, it keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah,
Oh well.
I would imagine your DJ gigs do enough of getting you in trouble.
Yeah, very possible. I'm the wild guy.
Yeah.
Anything's
Well,
liable to happen at my
where are you doing those at?
at White Lake, North Carolina, at a pizza place called Rendezvous Pizza. They got 3 restaurants there. They got Rendezvous Pizza and a place called Tea Burger. Got a Sandy Bottoms taco. Nice. And what I do is like 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, do that DJ stuff. I do karaoke
Hey,
song with
hey, double check the gain on your microphone just a tad bit. See what you got that thing cranked up to. But anyways, so we got FenceTech coming up, and we're both
yeah.
committed to going and
Hmm.
doing some recording from the show. Got to find a secret location to go to, and we're looking for people to interview on the podcast or the show. I'm not. I only say podcast because that's what everybody knows. But anyways, so we're gonna have to find more people to interview. We've already got about a half a dozen and a bunch of manufacturers, but I'd like to get some more people that are actually out in the field installing gate operators to be on the only show about gate operator life.
Yeah. That would be great, to find some people to interview and let us know what they're going through out there
Yeah,
installing gate operators.
see if they're experiencing the same crap that we're experiencing.
I imagine they are. They have to. I mean, there's no other way around it.
Yeah. Well, I think I got a couple things that I'm looking forward to seeing, but so far some of the new stuff that's come out, like that automatic control board, I've had zero problems with.
Yeah, it's been working great. I got a couple of them out there. I haven't had any issues with that. Whatever.
Well, right,
That's great.
Well, I've seen a few Maxes out here in Las Vegas, but it seems like a combination is the LiftMaster uh, swingers, because there's a lot of swingers on these multifamily communities, and Door King
Yeah,
call boxes. I haven't seen very many Cap XLs. So what's popular out there in North Carolina?
there's a lot of people like Door King keypads, telephone entry stuff. I'm starting to see more some of the lift masters, and then there's some Cellgate too. And then on my mini storage side, I've seen PDK. Got about 6 of those I worked on, and then um, 2 spider doors. So
Spot. So I've never dealt with those. You told me about those the other day, and I hadn't heard of them.
yeah, well, they work great. I mean, I it was so easy to work on, and I've never heard of them either until the customer said, "This is what I want. Get it for me." I did. So then you had to
Oh,
research it, and figure out how it works. It's very simple.
is it cellular or Wi-Fi or what?
They got the cellular one, and then they got the one that 5 wires. Got your little telephone hooked up for it, hook into the board, and it powers it.
It's a
All the
separate box.
communication. It's then a keypad, and then it goes to a router. Then it goes
The
to your
PDK
computer.
stuff, they don't have a telephone entry system, do they?
Yeah, I do not know if they got a telephone. I have to look that up. I'm not 100%, but most of the people that I've been dealing with on that's been on the mini storage side. They just use a keypad.
And what are you doing for PDK? Are you just doing keypads and then just a wireless access control panel?
Well, the company that I'm doing this for, they've been buying the PDK themselves. I just install it, and the ones that they buy, you have to run wire, 5 wires. I use what's called wiggle wire and run it to the keypad to the control panel, and 2 wires control panel to communicate back when they punch the entry code.
So you're running a 5-wire connection?
I believe it's 5 or 6. I can't remember right offhand. I know you better run at least 6. Not it ain't gonna it's not gonna work. Always get
Oh,
at least
gotcha.
6 conduct.
So you were out on the road here just recently, teaching some, uh, I guess, fence installer, some gate operator stuff.
Yeah, I had Oscar from Knoxville, Tennessee, reached out to me. It was on a Facebook post. He was looking for somebody to show him how to do this stuff. He knows how to do it. He just needs someone with experience to come and show him how to do it. Yeah, he reached out, and I reached out to him, and we messaged each Facebook. And he had troubleshoot a gate call, and so he called me on the phone, and I told him what to do, da da da, and did it. The gate took off work. He was like, "Can you come here and teach me how to install these gate operators?" I'm like, yeah, I don't have a problem. I'd love to. I'd love to go out to Knoxville. Never been there, so um, we arranged it. Went out there, and the uh, it was a great experience because that was my first time ever really doing that.
So when you went to do it, was there the option not to take your truck, or you just assumed that you were going to take your truck?
I took my personal truck, take business
Uh,
because it's something that didn't align with my business at all. He, I was basically going to be like, hey, it's going to be a fly seat in your pants type of deal. That's the way I did. And we had to run the loads and get conduit. We had to do things. It won't like super organized, but you know, that's the thing about it. These guys, some of these guys were not super organized. That first one, I could tell right off the bat, it wasn't organized. I was telling them, got this stuff organized right. Gonna have a lot of money out. Know where it's at. But that's what he needed me for. Was like to show him the rope the way I do. I gave him my experience. Somebody else come in and give them their experience. One thing I could offer is my experience in the
What previous training did he have, or what experience did he have with gate operators? Obviously, if he's out there doing a tech call.
Well, he went to the AFA had the Nashville, Tennessee show this past year. What 2024 February?
Yeah.
Anyways, he went out there and took the course, and he flunked the test one time, and he went and said he went back next day and took the test and he passed, and it was great. And I'm gonna tell you, he knew everything about all the safety devices. Well, 325 photo eyes on the open side and the photo eyes on the close. He knew everything about the edge pads, everything about the 2-inch gap stuff in your wire or in your gate. Knew everything about the loop, safety loop, exit loop, stuff like that.
So just a lot of theory.
Yeah, he knew the theory pretty well. I could tell he was studying that he was confident in that. And let me tell you, he and at all his cantilever gates, he's building the post where if the gate falls, the gate will fall on the post. I mean, he's going into it 100%.
Yeah, the gates falling over is like slide gates falling over is like the biggest deal, right? I mean,
oh yeah,
it's just
yeah.
I had one follow on me just a couple of days ago, and went back out after I told the fence company and the gate company what they needed to do to repair it, and we still needed more work. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, I mean, some people think that having that gate operator there, which is what saved my ass, is follower protection, and the gate operator itself probably is not recommended to be follower protection. Well, I heard the same thing, which is actually how I got my a few months ago out of state customer. He went to the AFA class. And the first thing that the instructor said was, I don't know what the test looks like. I haven't seen it in 5 years, and I don't know what you don't know. So why don't I just open up the questions to what y'all are going to tell me, and then I'll answer those questions. And that's pretty scary to spend all that money. But it sounds like that the class, based on what he said, is that theory gets driven home pretty hard, and then it's really more of a safety class.
And it's a good thing too. So it's great that they know all and learning it, painting.
Yeah, well, that's what I've got going on out here at Las Vegas. There's a lot of people that wanted to get into gate operators that are doing fences, and their people just aren't trained. And we heard some stuff from feedback on the classes that we got. There was one guy, I think he just had a general problem with what was going on with everything, because he had complaints about free t-shirts and having to pay for the fence show. And, I volunteer for some of that stuff, but that shit ain't got nothing to do with me. I think he had said something like, well, I could have learned all this stuff on YouTube, which the theory of it, I guess, I mean, MIT, Harvard, all these guys have their classes, thousands of classes online, right? So it's quite possible that that conceptual stuff you could find somewhere. I have to have a few hundred hours of videos out there, and all of that stuff is aggregated, and I put the most important stuff in class. But as an example, tightening chain bolts, which at the end of Friday I was teaching somebody how to do. Well, you grab 2 3/4-inch wrenches and you're pressing one way on one nut and the other way on the other nut, so you can actually keep that chain straight and not kink it for when it goes into the idler wheel, right? And with all due respect, you can't get that muscle memory off of YouTube. You can't get that physical practice of knowing how to put an impact gun and a wrench on the other side so you could get it done faster. You know, knowing the trick of how to bust a master link, you're never going to know. You're never going to get that concept from watching the video. I could record that exact same video and explain all that stuff, and you're still not going to be able to get the muscle memory and understand the concept without doing it.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. You can read about it, learn, and watch. And I've watched a lot of YouTube videos learning how to do stuff. It doesn't make me an expert. 25
No, that's
what makes me.
Yeah, some college that charges a couple $100,000 a year to attend is not putting all their classes online for free because they think that you're going to get the same type of education watching it as you are participating in class and actually doing it.
Yeah. So on the training part that I did past 2 weekends, I thought that I was going to be at his shop training. He called me. I got 2 operators on one job site. So I went, okay, we'll do whatever we got to do. And so we pulled to this job site. We had to adjust the cantilever gate, 24 foot long, and we had to adjust each one of them. I had to lower them down, level them out, and then I showed them how to do that. Then I had to show them how to make sure that that bolt on the shaft is tightened up on every 4-inch nylon roller, all that good stuff. And then we had to figure out how to mount the motor, which it was concrete poured everywhere. So we had to make up our own mount out of 2.5-inch pipe, plates welded on, and frame out our own pipe stand for the gate operator. And he was installing automatic gate operator on, I believe, 100. And yeah, so the first few hours getting there, we had to come up with a game plan on how to get all the stuff done and everything. So the first day, getting stuff together, we were running the wire keypad to the operator, mounting the keypad, then mount stands photo op first. Then the second day, me and him, and we mounted the motor, gate operator, and then showing them how to hook wires up. Showing them how to make more than one lead.
That's it went pretty well. I think he grasped a lot of it, and then I told him he can call me anytime if he needs anything. Just call me and we'll talk it out. And he's wanting me to come back, and we're going to do some troubleshooting and do some service calls on the gates that he's installed already. So
Right
that's what
on.
we're looking forward to do.
We'll have to make a note of what this time 20 seconds or 20 minutes into the video, because your audio just went from barely being able to hear it to now I can hear you perfectly. It just snapped over a second. So but anyways, yeah,
Well,
I have
it just a roadcaster just now you can hear everything.
yeah. So did your roadcaster die?
No, it didn't die. It died on the Bluetooth end.
Oh, so that's
But you
what it
say you
is,
can
huh?
hear everything now?
Yeah, I mean it must be picking up from your phone microphone.
Yeah, it is now.
Well, let's just stick with that then and keep going.
But anyways,
All right. Well, there you go. You spent $1,000 on a roadcaster and a damn microphone. That's what we both had to do today. We both had
I
to
swear.
man, as soon as we were ready to go, my camera died. And then that means I had to switch computers. So the damn high quality microphone and audio interface is no longer tied together. So when you went out there, did you actually have any kind of checklist or anything like that you went over with them, or did you just
It would a check. I believe a checklist at this time wouldn't have worked for him because it was so much of um, figuring out how to get this thing done before I leave and get them to repeat the pattern. That's what I focused on. Was like, we're gonna get this gate right here done, get everything done on it, and then you do the same thing on the other side with the other gate operator. That's the way I
so
did it. Now,
two gate
when I come
operators on
back,
the same property?
say what?
Two gate operators on the same property?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That helps, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that helps a lot. And but we managed to get one done and then and get the other motor mounted on there and the chain brackets and stuff like that on there. And after we got the first one done, I said all you got to do is just follow this pattern right here and you'll be fine. And so he did. He hooked the photo eyes up. He hooked all the wiring up on the second one, and I weren't there, so everything worked out great.
Automatic, what was it? Did you say SL100s?
Yeah, 100s.
Yeah, that's my go-to. I remember when we were talking to Automatic maybe in 2023. Yeah, 2023 at the first Fence show, they were telling me that the weight rating and for the 90 and the 100 are the same because it's the same motor and same gear reducer and all that. And it's not. One's 1,600 and one's 2,000. But I don't know why. I just like that 100, even though it's more expensive because I don't know. It just gets so narrow. I could get it into a lot of places, but
Yeah.
I wish that I believe they still make it to where the control board housing's on one of the sides. So for rear mount applications, when there's a tight fit on 50% of them, you're not going to be able to do it. I actually had to sell another gate operator one time because they didn't have the 90s out and the SL100 wouldn't work because the control board faced the wall. I still don't get why manufacturers that they don't face them out. I've never had an application where facing it, if the gate's going left and right like this, where having the control board where you could see it right here hurts, but I've seen it to where it's on the left and on the right, and sometimes on top to where it doesn't work as well.
Yeah, yeah. On the East Coast and the South, we don't really have them problems with them type of operators because we normally the majority of the time cantilever gates, or aluminum sliding gates type sliding gates that we use.
Not very many rear mount applications.
No, I don't see them at all. I haven't
Have you ever had to
seen
mount?
them.
Have you ever had to mount them upside down?
The one I had to mount that was the hardest was inside a parking garage. And that gate was 40 foot long. I had to build the gate inside of the parking garage. And
Oh,
then
because it wouldn't fit.
yeah, it was so the way the guy wanted it in that parking garage, he wanted where them skateboarders couldn't come in. So I had to build it inside of the parking deck garage, but it weren't that complicated. But no, I don't do a lot of rear mounts. I don't see them a lot. Now, probably in a bigger city area like Charlotte and Raleigh, there might be a few, but most of the time I don't see them. In this area, you don't see a lot of V-track wheels and stuff like that, because of rocks and dirt, they will just pop off the track. I've seen them 20 years ago, but everybody in this area started going a different route.
Well, one of the dumbest things that I keep seeing out here is the B track below grade. And I still don't get it. No, just every little rock, everything. I had a gate operator that was doing for a guy that we both know, and it was just like, this is always going to be a problem. You're right next to, when you're landscaping through on every damn property is rocks. It's all hardscaping, and then you put a V track below grade, you're not gonna have good results. And but of course in Texas, that's all we see is V track. So
yeah,
we see a lot of them. Well, talking about that, we both saw that people were requesting third-party training out there on one of the forums, and that's something that you and I both provide independently, and hopefully we'll be providing together here sometime soon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what's your take on the state of training and what that looks like right now?
It needs to happen. There's more involved with this stuff. See, we came from a generation where we had to learn things on our own. You jump in the truck with another guy, and he's going to train you, and he learned through the same way. That's been the process for several hundred years. Now we got all this technology with YouTube videos and different type of safety classes and stuff. But what has happened is the reality of being out in the field has a big gap in it. So this big gap needs to close up a little bit, because what I run into is a lot of gate operators that have been installed and they're improper.
Well, you got a storm going on out there?
Huh?
Oh no, is that the troublemaker back there?
Yes, that's the troublemaker.
Hey. now it's really gonna get popping right now.
Oh Lord, yeah, I know.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, my daughter had to work at White Lake, so they just got back from White Lake.
But Amber, man, we've been following everything that's going on. And I tell you that you can't have any more thoughts of positivity coming from Nevada than you got right now. So I'm glad everything's going good there. So speaking of third-party training, well, we got Mark Cobb. He's actually checking us out. For you guys that don't know, Mark is along with his wife, one of the principals over there at J.C. Gurry that make everybody's fence and gate signs. And when I say everybody's, they make everybody's. Really got some of the old school presses and old school way of doing things. And at the Fence University, we've got a class coming out there that they're going to host, and we're going to put a gate operator on their gate. And I wonder if you're going to be here. Are you going to be? I know we're going to FenceTech, but are you going to be? Where are you going to be around the 12th through the 14th? That's the week after the cruise, I think.
Well, I'm gonna see what happens. I gotta see what's going on with the business side of things far as if I'm available to go. You know, I want to
Gotcha.
go every time, everything that's going on, but unfortunately, I got to run the business, so I got to see what's going on at that time before I can say, "Hey, I'm gonna be here for this and that." There's a lot of things I
Well,
want to do, but I may not be able to do that one.
that fence cruise is the 3rd through the 5th or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on that one.
Yeah,
Anything
I'm not sure.
having to do with a good time, I'm going with that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't want to work. You don't want to come out to JC Gurry and help me install a gate operator. Okay, I get that. I get that. No
We'll do a
problem.
class on the cruise ship.
I told Brian with as many people as signed up right now, I think there's a pretty healthy number to where they should at least do a networking event or something like that. But
Well, I
anything
heard
I'm
that
saying,
they're gonna do a mixer and a couple little things,
oh yeah,
so we can say we're on a business trip.
yeah, that the training that's going on out there, the Coyote Denali, he's going to be, if you will, the guest professor. So we're excited about having him there. And we
Yeah, that's
also,
cool.
yeah, he's super smart, super nice, and I haven't heard him teach yet, but on the stuff that I've seen him do online, he's well spoken and can take his time. So I think that'll be very interesting, and hopefully at the Access Control Expert School and the Fence University and the Gate School, we all will be able to utilize him in the future for some more of our classes. But yeah, I think that kind of wrapped up the third party and training. But just real quick, did you have anything to add about whether what you think about the manufacturer's training going on right now, the distributor training going on right now, and then third party stuff like through American Fence Association and Fence Workers Association and the training that we do independently? Do you have anything else to say?
My thoughts on that, I think they're doing a good job training the best ability that they can, and so I just think that there needs to be more effort on keeping tabs on all these guys. You know, don't just send them out there and not keep up with them. And that's what's lacking.
Yeah, I can see that to a certain extent. I think the biggest complaint that I have, and I think I've been outspoken about it, is that the people who are teaching how to install a gate operator, one, have never installed a gate operator. And so at that point, we're talking academic and theory. And we know what that ends up like, you know. And a lot of these gate operator classes right now are turning into safety classes. And the standards that are in the manufacturer manuals, what they call the standards, and some of the guidelines that they have, in essence, is it. And I implore every manufacturer, and I tried to get some of the safety companies together to be able to offer discounts to retrofit some of this stuff. Although there are these consumer groups that are pushing, don't touch it if it ain't 2018 or newer, which is a bunch of bullshit.
You hear that all the time on that Facebook stuff when I ain't gonna touch it, Well, you're not making it no safer then.
Well, let me tell you, yeah, just by turning it off and saying we're not going to touch it. So let me ask you this: if right now I took one of your dad's pickup trucks or something, one of his possessions, an older vehicle or something like that, I took it to the mechanic, and the mechanic held on to your keys and said that this is not 2024 standards. You can't drive this off the parking lot. What would your dad say to that?
They said, go get that truck.
Ain't gonna be some smoke in the city tonight, boy.
Yeah, go get it.
So right now, today, what happened on the highways of Texas is there was about 1,800 people that got into an accident of some sort, and about half of those people actually had injuries, and that was just in one day. So more people had injuries right now today, just in this one day, that will happen all year with gate operators. So, or 2 years or 3 years or whatever the case may be. And I don't want anybody to get hurt in a car wreck, and I definitely don't want anybody to get hurt by a gate. But we have to have some checks and balances when it comes to 2028 or 2018, no go, or 2017, no go, 2018, you could do whatever. So that's been my kind of frustration, is that there's safety classes, and then the manufacturers, like LiftMaster, they're not including the wireless edge kit. So right off the bat, you can't make the gate operator go. And there are several manufacturers like that too. So I implore those manufacturers to include everything that you need. And one of our favorites, and that we both like, is Automatic. They're including both of those photo eyes now. That has made my installs so much easier. And their photo eyes. Have you seen the new photo eye, the Red 2 or whatever it is?
Yeah, that's what I've been installing. I've been installing the LA 400s and 500s. So, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Now the Automatic, their new photo eye. They designed the one that came with it and saw that, but they now redeveloped the new ones, or another version of it. It's called the Red 2. Have you used any of those in your installs yet?
On this, when I went to Knoxville, that's what he had. Oscar had that in his purchase of the Automatic 100, and it's nice. It's a little difficult to line up, and let me tell you that story. So Oscar was like, "You need a laser," and he had this laser. I was like, "Man, I'm old school. I don't need no laser." He's like, "How you gonna do it?" I said, "Just watch me." And I told him, I said, "Go down there, measure 21 inches and 27 inches. Put a mark on 21, put a mark on 27. Come the other one, put a mark at 21, put a mark at 27. I said, that way you're good with the UL 325 standards." And so you screw them in, just screw. Don't worry about checking if it's straight or something. Just screw them in, get them level. And then when we did that, and then we powered it up, man, that thing was lined up perfect. However, when we went to go adjust it, it was a dime.
Yeah.
We like, it lined up perfect the first time, and then we went to, fine tune it. We took us a little while, but he did it. He got it adjusted and got it going. So he was pretty good with that.
So I haven't adjusted any of the new Red photo eyes yet. The couple of consulting things that I have out here on have been LiftMaster gate operators, and one of the things I told these guys is that you don't want to be messing with the RF just yet. So don't do the wireless edges yet. So the cost has gone up just a little bit because I'm getting them into another photo eye. Mm-hmm. In addition to what they have. Granted, they'll be stocked with edges now, and I'm not against the edges. The edges are great. LiftMaster doesn't even make them. They're made by ASO. And the wireless kits, if the edge is installed properly, and the wireless kit that LiftMaster makes, if they're installed properly, I've yet to see one that has failed. But by the way, I don't think. What's that?
I've heard that they failed.
Oh, I'm sure that some of them have, but here's what I'm going by, Robert. And if I'm going to put them in, the only reason why I would put the LiftMaster kit in would be is if it was something that I felt that I wasn't going to service it in the future, I would just put the LiftMaster kit in. But if I'm going to service it in the future, then I'll just put that EMX Well 200 in. But here's the only thing I'm going by when somebody says that one of those LiftMaster edge kits is that every edge that I've ever gone to that they've had a problem with, not LiftMaster, ASOs, the EMX kits, the transmitter solution kits, it's all been installed improperly.
I agree 100%.
Okay, so that's what I'm going by. And as a matter of fact, just like everything that I install, when it's the first time that I've installed it, I screw it up too. And then I got to go back on a warranty call and then figure out, that well 200 transmitter has to, or receiver, you got an object that's like this, and this is the receiver. You got to get that receiver up above it, right? Because that's where the antenna is. And once you realize that, you're golden. And there's some other tricks too, having the wire down there on the bottom. Supposedly they say, you got to poke a hole in that cover so you can actually get water to leak out of there and all that stuff. And the wire's supposed to be on top. But that's how I've been doing it. If I have a guidepost, I put the receiver up high, the transmitter up high, and that way I don't have any obstructions or anything like that.
I do. I just saw where Susan was on here. Hey, Susan.
Yeah, Susan. Yeah. Hey, y'all. Man, she wants to pretend she's from the South, Louisiana and the South.
She's from that's the bayou, man.
That's the bayou, yeah. I don't even think they speak English. They speak Creole out there where she's at. Hey, Susan and Anthony. I think we just talked the other day. I think Anthony's in Southern California. He was gonna go out to that class. I'm sorry if it's the wrong person that we're teaching.
What's his comment there?
It says, some LiftMaster mechanical slide limits without some experience will be fun to watch. Oh, so what he's actually saying is that you're going to these classes and you're not actually physically being taught how to actually set the limits. You're going to have a problem. And there is a trick to setting the limits, right? Yeah. Hell, there's a trick to putting on the damn chain so you don't screw up the limits if you don't get it in the right spot. But yeah, I think that's one of those things that you're just never going to be able to get into a class, without going out into the field. But yeah, so let's see what else we got. Who else is saying stuff? All right, Jeff, no better training than hands-on. Jeff was kind enough to do some volunteering at the Fence show.
Jeff is cool.
Yeah. So just to recap, Fence University is going to be at J.C. Gurry installing a gate operator on their gate. So that will be all. Well, I shouldn't say all hands-on. We'll be in the classroom a little bit talking about some stuff, but we're going to actually install from start to finish a gate operator, put loops in, and that type of stuff. So what do you have happening in the last couple of weeks that popped up? Anything exciting? I got one interesting thing that I put on Facebook forums. What about you?
Well, mine was it was a cold week past week. It's been in the 20 degrees on the coastal North Carolina, so it's a little colder than usual here.
What determines
say what?
I was going to say, what determines whether you're going to go out in the field or not as far as weather-wise? If, like for me, and this is in Texas, and now that I'm here in Nevada, I don't have to really worry about it. But in Texas, if there's any precipitation on the ground and it's below freezing, it has to be a special. It has to be an exceptional charge for me to actually go out there and
it had to be an emergency or something. Yeah, this call wasn't an emergency. Customer called me and said my gate it opened and didn't close back this morning, and I was like, well, I said it could be a photo eye, could be something keeping it open, but I did say, well, it is cold weather normally. I mean, not normal here for this type of cold weather. I said a relay can stick in the board or something, cause the gate to stay open, and then it warms up, and then it somehow closes back. And he called me and said, "Oh, my gate closed back." And I said, "Okay, you don't have to come out." He don't want to pay me a service charge, what that is. But and it worked a couple of days, and it was warmed up. Then it got super cold again, and it did it again. And I said, I can get a heater for it to put inside the control panel. But that's pretty much it. Besides going to a different gate operator. But I said, I gotta check everything. I gotta check the photo eyes. I gotta check your loop detectors. I gotta check, the boards, limit switches and stuff like that. See what's keeping up. It could possibly not be the weather. It could be something else. But my guesstimation was it was super cold and it was keeping the gate open. Then it warmed up and it closed. Everything closes back. So I don't know.
What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing out for photo eyes? Are you doing any special precaution covering up the photo eye or covering up the reflector?
No, I used to, but it depends on certain job, like a certain location. If the sun's beaming down on it, I may have to make some type of hood for it, but that's like very rarely. Since LiftMaster's come out with this new photo eye, it's got a heater on it.
That's what
on the
just
reflector.
about that.
And that's working. I haven't had no failure. Used to, back in the day, if you had a reflector photo eye, real cold, foggy mornings, I would get a call. But hey, my gate's not open. So to get away from that, we did the through beams where you had to run an extra wire and all that. We used a lot of EMX back in the day, and that took care of the fog and the rain.
But you weren't using a heater or anything. You were just relying on the durability, reliability of.
You didn't have a heater back in the day, or I didn't. We didn't have photo eyes with heaters on. That just came out probably several years ago, but I don't know exactly when. But I know that they didn't have them several years ago with the heater.
Yeah, I've heard several people do that. Just do the through beam. I heard you could do that with the automatics. You just buy another one, and then it can automatically be a through beam. But the one thing that I heard about the LiftMasters, because I got one of my clients, he's putting a bunch of them in up in Minnesota. I think it's the INSL, so I guess industrial slider is what that stands for. He was saying the problem is they were hooking up the heater, but that didn't fix the reflector having something happen.
Well, you're not going to, you got to go to the 2-wire system with the infrared. I call it infrared beam, but the through beam to the other side. LiftMaster has those, and I had to put one of those in at a location this past year for the through beam because the reflector won't working.
Well, have you put any of those optics in with the battery on the other side that application?
For 7 years I've been putting those in.
And how the batteries doing?
I haven't had one to go dead yet. I'm waiting for that call for a battery to go dead.
They say
haven't had one.
Oh, real quick, I wanted to mention this about the wireless edge kits for LiftMasters. People got to remember that they want a specific battery in there, and I want to say it's an LM91. It's a lithium-ion AA. I had one of my clients here in Las Vegas. She was just like, well, I told the customer that we were going to go ahead and replace them anyway, so I just went and grabbed AA's. And I'm like, well, you might want to double check that. Sure enough, I read the manual, and it's a specific one. So for you guys out there that are having edge problems, keep in mind that it takes a special battery. And I want to say that's the same of the other ones that I've dealt with too, that you're going to find that those are the lithium ion. And there's a couple of manufacturers, I want to say US Automatic, that it looks like a AA, but it's not a AA. So before you start replacing those, you need to make sure. I want to say it is US Automatic because they have a through beam that's wireless on the other side as well too. It can be battery powered, and those have actually been really good. I'll be honest with you; they look inexpensive as hell, and they're not all that friendly to put together. But once you get them in there, they're super duper reliable. Yeah. But what about as far as in that inclement weather? What are you doing? Are you doing anything special to your trucks? Are you doing anything special to dress up and survive it? What's your uniform look like out there when it gets cold?
I just Make sure you put some warm clothes on, pants and coat, a couple shirts, and a Door King toboggan.
Oh, I got my Door King one on. I've been
You
wearing
ain't
it all
got
week.
it on, man. I got my hat on.
No, I was dressed. I was dressed up to do stuff this weekend, so I thought I'd get stylish and put one of these other ones on.
You gotta get out of the gate mode, huh?
Yeah, I got a video. I think I gotta put it out. But it's about when it is cold weather. So I did that thermal underwear and then my regular uniform long sleeve Dickies and their work pants. And then the main thing is with the head wearing those, I think they call it baklava. You put it all over your head and it covers up everything. Basically like what I would use if I was going to go rob somebody back in the day, you know? But no, it was, it's, you put that over your head and then I still will do one or two more plus a hoodie. Thank you, Kenco, for this hoodie. All right.
Yeah,
this is actually
Kenco, shout out to
Kenco.
Levi.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all those guys. It's super nice. I went out and taught one a gate operator class out there at Pennsylvania. But yeah, no, they're super nice guys. But yeah, then put a hoodie on. But I always carry overalls with me, insulated overalls. So even if it's not freezing outside and I'm doing loops or something where I get wet, I'll put those on. But man, in Texas, people don't know how to drive. So if it's wet and it's below freezing, we're not getting out there.
Yeah, I understand
that. Just real quick for anybody that doesn't know that we're streaming this to YouTube as well too. That's where we're putting a lot of the videos that we're actually doing. You'll find stuff from Robert, you'll find stuff from me, but we're also asking people if they want to showcase their work. You could do a short video and you could take advantage of all the people and all the views that we got. Just do a 9x16 video, portrait video, less than a minute, and we'll get your name on there and all that stuff. And for more in the field stuff, there's a playlist called In the Field, and about 95% of that is in the field. The other 5% is kind of related to it, but we do some interviews and stuff like that where people are talking about in the field. But it's at two Smooth Operators, Smooth Operator 1 and Smooth Operator 2 right here on YouTube, as well as all the other platforms. Get that boring stuff out of the way. So for me, actually out in the field, and I posted this on Facebook in one of the groups, and I think you commented on as well too, was stands. You know, what are y'all doing for stands out there for gate operator stands? Didn't you post something that you had did for stands, or you just said something?
I used the stand from Automatic, the pipe stand. I do gate operators.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
well, I've been talking to a lot of people about efficiency, and now that I might be getting away from edges for some of these new companies and start training them just on photo eyes, since they're so easy to diagnose. As well as you don't have to do anything at the back of the gate, because putting an edge on sometime is a pain in the ass, especially on pipe.
Only time I put an edge on if they require it on the gate operator from a customer, or if it was on a drawing and we'll put it on it. But other than that, we don't normally put them on, because some of the customers don't like it, because they can just hit my gate and open it. I've had them say that to me. So I'm like, yeah, it's a safety device. And sometimes they might say, I want that off. You know, it just depends on the person.
But you dispel that by saying they can't just walk up and hit it and open the gate.
Well, people panic about, I can just hit it before it gets right there to it and you can open it back up, saying somebody walking off the street. I've had them say that to me. So,
you can do that with a photo eye too.
Do the same thing, photo eye and loop and all that mess. So.
Yeah, that's what's a trip about it, is when they say it when there's loops out there. Somebody could just scoot their bumper in there. I'm like, well, there's already been two safer devices that they've already passed the loop and the photo eye before they even get to actual physical contact with the gate. So I think you can calm down. I tell people this all the time. If it were me, I would have because I would go through the expense of making this look good. That's been my biggest complaint is people think the edges don't look good. Have you got any of
They
that
look
pushback?
good on the gate when they're installed properly. To me, I mean, they don't look bad.
Well, most of my gate operators that are out there are metal framed that are painted black. So I just paint the rail black before we even do right off the bat. We paint it, let it dry, and then we'll mount it to the back and then touch up the paint. And then the edge itself really doesn't look that bad, but I hate it when they laser that printing on the side of it, right? And you can actually see like what the part number is and all that stuff. But they make a really, really small edge. It's about like that tall. And that's what I would put on mine, but I would inset it so you could, all that was exposed was not the rail and the edge. But I would probably put, depending upon the gate, I would probably put a couple of edges on my gate. If I was putting automatic, of course, I would just stick with the photo eyes that come with it, which is why I think they were really smart in doing that. There's some gate operator manufacturers, and maybe this is not a UL, dude. I don't know if are they required to put a photo eye in there now?
Yeah. Well, they're required to. It's not supposed to work without. If the gate operator is not supposed to work unless it has one on it. That don't mean they have to supply it. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I think they're supplying it because, LiftMaster started doing that first. Supplying the foot, they're supplying all their product. And I think, Automatic's catching on. You're probably going to see it catching on with other manufacturers.
Well, a lot of people don't know that that's actually was one of the number one things that reduced the number of lawsuits, not whether they won them or lost them, but just the number of lawsuits was when they started including safety devices with it. Now, what's so weird is like manufacturers like LiftMaster, how they include one safety device that we all know that they want on the back of the gate, but don't include the wireless system and then include the photo eye for the front of the gate will still always blow my mind.
Well, I don't know. As long as they got 2 photo eyes, I'm happy. See, I went to back to LiftMaster this past year, because the photo eye comes with it, and I was getting beat up on pricing. So, and I had a high quality gate operator, high quality photo eyes, and I weren't getting the job. So I was like, well, let's go to LiftMaster. It's got everything with it, and we can just start putting it out like that. And it's worked. So that's what I'm doing on these residential jobs.
Out here, this is not a residential town at all, man. I see so many of those Amazon gate operators, and I've heard people get beat up so bad.
I've had to install a topin or toppin. Dude bought it off the internet for $500 and paid me $1,200 to put it in. So, but it's a piece of junk. And it's working. It's working, but they're not great.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I've heard people go is well, why would I pay you 10 grand? There's one specific instance. I won't say the exact price, but might be able to figure out who it is because it's some of it was public information. But when I could go right here on Amazon and the most expensive gate operator that they have is $700. It's just like, you're telling me $9,000 of this is labor the customer told them? So it's like, yo, man, it's not like that here, but this is not a residential town whatsoever. I've been trying to think of different ways that I could recommend to these installers to do it. And I think the best thing that I've come up with, because there's this town is they all have all these homes. Once you hit a certain price, have dual swingers on the side of the house, right? So if you want to park your RV back there, but they're all manual. All of them are manual. I haven't seen one that's automated. I'm sure that they're out there, but I haven't seen one that's manual. In my neighborhood, I haven't seen one that's automated. We've got about 100 houses there. I haven't seen one that's automated. And the best thing that I can come up with is like a dual Ranger and by US Automatic and make it solar is the best thing that I could come up with. But they're just not going to pay it. And that's why everybody out here focus on commercial.
And that's what we're figuring out. Me and my dad were like, we got to figure out a way to create income and all that, create job activity. You create where we can get a job. We got to come up with this package deal because ours is residential, and then the commercial stuff and the industrial stuff. There's not a whole lot of that around here yet. I mean, I do it, a lot of it, but once I get it caught up, it's done. It's over with, and I don't have issues. But I need some residential gate operators coming through, so we come up with the best package that we can, where we can make a little profit at the end of, if any. And then I had somebody call us the other week about putting in some ghost operators, and they have them. And we gave them a price, and we heard back from them. So they don't even want to pay for the labor of installing these gates properly. So,
Well,
there's
I
Billy
can tell you
Grove.
that. Yeah. What's going on? Okay, gentlemen.
What's up, Billy?
Hey, Billy, what's going on? Hey, Billy, man, while we're talking about this, I got something for you. You see this?
I saw where you hit a water line.
Oh, Billy did?
Yeah, he hit a water line.
You see that right there, Billy? This has been waiting for you and a dang address. So post your public address right now so you can get that.
Send it to him so he can mail it to you. I'll send him a stamp.
There you go. Yeah, me coming to this town has been a shock because half of what I do in consulting is showing the ability to make money off residential markets. And I didn't realize how good that we had it in Texas, where people understand the quality and the reliability are super important. And my goal for my customers was always about time. This is like the more time that they sat there and talked to me about this product over that product that might save them just a couple $100 or a percent on the job, couple percent on the job, they've already could have made that money back on the phone. So my ideal customer out there in North Texas was not somebody that was worried about 5,000 or 10,000. It just really wasn't ever. We weren't competing.
I got customers like that. I got customers I got one right now that's waiting on me to run a communication line. So, and they paid me up front and everything, but I got good customers. But when I get them called up, I have a big gap of not making no revenues coming in. So I've got to figure out a way to get these other jobs. I got to get them. You got to figure out a way to get them. That's just all there is to it. You can't just say, I ain't going to get them, because then you lose your cash flow. You lose money. The bank account starts going down because your other big jobs ain't paying on time and stuff like that. So you have to do a little bit of everything. You have to figure out. You have to stay on top of your game. That's what I think.
Well,
you just got to stay on top of it.
You're
can't
right.
be relaxed. You cannot be relaxed. If you relax, you will fail.
That's a good point. All right. You take a week off, you're not going to get that week back. So, well,
you can still take a week off. You just need to have it in your mind.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess if the business is automated, then you could take that week off and everybody else is doing the stuff for you. Well, what I was going to say about the residential thing for anybody that's interested is what I've been doing for that recurring revenue or being able to get cash really, really quick or consistently is you've got to develop your scheduled service programs. So that's what I've been basically trading off from residential customers for these people that are wanting cash, because one of the things I found in North Texas that there is no loyalty in the residential and everything is I want it done right now. So the benefit is if you could just pick up that phone, you get the money right then and there, and it's all immediate. There's no 30 days, there's no terms or anything like that. One things I recommend is create your scheduled service program, and it is just the most simplest thing to do. Take a look at all the manufacturers' manuals, look at the back of them, see what the troubleshooting is, see what the scheduled service is, combine all that stuff together, create you a system, and you know what you need to get paid an hour. So how many hours is this going to take you, and multiply that by how many hours it is, and you know what your cost is. And then that's exactly what you charge is what you have to pay just by doing that. And granted, if you're selling, 4 gate operators on one property, then you're really only setting up once and tearing down once. So that was always my number of where I did a price break. If it's 4 or more, or I may have done 5 or more, whatever it was, we would do a price break per gate operator. If anybody's curious about setting up a scheduled service program, let me know.
And then if you live where I live at, it's totally different. They don't want a service schedule. I was like, can I come back once a month and service your gate? No, I'll call you. Well, what do I got to do to keep blah, 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 blah. And then, they always wait till the gate failed to come service it. So, and I offer it. I got a couple of clients that we offer it to them. They take it, but the majority of them, no, they don't. If you tell them any more money that it can cost them $200 for a service call every 6 months, they seem like that they go crazy. I ain't paying that, so oh well. So wait till your gate fails.
I think that is going to happen. So here's the thing, though, is let's say that you automatically default and say that, I've only got 1% of my customers that want it. I'll take that 1%. Just the 1% is going to be the difference between your guy getting 35 hours this week and getting 40 hours this week. And at 35 hours this week, he might say, I need to start looking for a job because I need a full-time employment. But the important thing about it is every quarter, I have done some monthly service calls, but they didn't, or monthly scheduled service programs, but they really didn't last. But if you're doing a quarterly, just every quarter you're popping those checks in, and they know that you're there. So it's not hard to do. Hey, real quick, as far as on the East Coast, if they want in-person training like you did in Knoxville, do you have a public phone number or anything that you want to give out?
It's just my personal cell number.
What is it?
910-874-5541.
It's tough for me to be able to do the East Coast stuff, and I've been giving people the option of whether to take my truck or not. And I had to almost triple my price just to do the truck, because it's, whatever the driving time is there and whatever the driving time is back, and just the use of the truck. So, but if it's like that job that you have in Knoxville, we could have completed the jobs just based on what I had on my truck.
Yeah.
And that is actually where we saved money on the last job that I did, where I took my truck, which was in Minnesota. It's 2 days up there, 2 days back. My truck broke down while I was up there. I was stuck for another 3 days. So it was definitely not the home run that I wanted it to be. But the most important thing is we helped that guy build his systems. We actually even but we went to Home Depot, bought all the equipment that he was going to need, like the fittings and stuff. Took those boxes, and I used each one of those boxes for his inventory inside his store. But he had 3 projects with LiftMaster INSLs in there, and all he had was the cantilever gates installed. That's it, and power pulled. So we had to go in and install the gate operators, hook the chain up, and it was like, oh, we got to weld the chain brackets on there. Hell yeah, you need to weld the chain brackets on there, and so on. And all it takes is just not having that one fitting that I had on my truck that helped them close out the deal. Because if you're paying one of us to be there, plus our expenses, it gets expensive quick. It's worth it. But he was able to collect 2 checks that week. And that's what I tell people is the cost for me or somebody like you to come out there is just one gate operator. All you have to do is sell one more gate operator that year.
And we're also helping them make more money, helping them be profitable. So I don't see why they wouldn't want to take the opportunity to do that because
Yep.
there's good money in it when that machine's rolling right in gate operator world. There's good money in it.
I like it because I just don't. I always had the flexibility to do whatever I wanted, in the sense like, oh, I could do that job tomorrow, I could do it today, or when I was doing everything, when I had my own service company and was doing everything in Dallas myself, I could terminate customers just as quick as I could terminate an employee. Man, if I didn't like the customer, I wasn't going to like their friends, and I wasn't going to like the referrals, and I would just be like, sorry. We won't do any service.
Well, you're in a location where you can do that too, so that was good.
Well, and
Now,
that is true, because that's the difference that is going on here right now. For if somebody wanted to turn that residential, just a single family residential on here in Las Vegas, they're literally selling a new product. They're not selling a service. That new product to the residential user is a gate operator on their home. That's what the new product is. And they've never had it before. That's why it's a product and not a service. Whereas having the gates at the front of the complex, apartment complex, or in front of your HOA, everybody not everybody, but it's 10 times more popular than residential. And you're not having to discuss that. The only thing you're having to figure out is, should I go with company A or company B to do scheduled service or repairs or replace the gate operators? So it's you have to have a whole nother conversation with somebody if you're doing that. And that's right. In North Texas, which is one of the bigger markets for gate operators.
yeah, it's a big market.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
when you drive through Texas, because I got family there, everywhere you look, you see a gate operator. Everywhere, out in the country, out on the farm, in the cities, gated communities. I mean, it's everywhere.
And you'll go through some neighborhoods that the house is only $300,000. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't have gate operators, but I'm just saying you're spending 10 grand on a house that's $300,000, and just to get a new gate operator in there. But there's people doing it. That expectation. Now, the other thing is, what about the physical aspect of it? We have alleys in Texas, and alleys, that's where all the gates are. I mean, the two communities, two richest zip codes in that area, Highland Park and or not the two, it's two of the three, Highland Park and University Park. You will drive down an alley, every single gate would be 6 to 8 feet tall, board on board with top cap, metal frame for wood, with the gate operator sitting there standing tall, and you knew somebody got paid 20 grand to put that in. And they're booked. The last fence company that I was doing, actually still doing sub work for, I mean, they're 3 weeks out, and the customers are like, great, that's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, it's a different market. You don't get that.
Another thing, the challenge that we're running into is on service calls is, I'm 60 miles from the beach and 60 miles from another location. And so I get a call where the gate needs to be serviced. And if I go and only do that one service call, we're not going to make no money that day.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to have another one lined up in that area. And sometimes I got to wait a week or two to see till I can get out there. And then I go out there when I got more than one, because I can't go out there to do that one call and then come back to the shop and not make no money that day. So we decided to, well, it's not a big emergency. The gate's still working, but it needs to be serviced and everything's okay. They just, somebody hit the keypad and the keypad needs to be replaced, but it's still working. And I'm like, we can't go out there and be Johnny on the spot, because if I do, I'm not gonna make no money.
Yeah. So what? How many of those customers do you lose just based on that one thing?
None. Because
I guess
not a lot of. There's the other guys that do it, but I don't know what goes on. So, in my area, there's really no other guys that does service. I do know another guy that does, but he lives far away too, so it's kind of up for grabs, and they're not going to call nobody else. But I'm at Sunset Beach, North Carolina, and then I'm at There's a gate. I work on one electric gate. Then there's another electric gate beside it too that I don't even work on. So I don't know.
Well, I think that just goes to show, man, that different markets have just different needs. But I was just so lucky to have that, and because you could just fall over. I mean, you could just wake up and have 3 or 4 calls just that same day, and God forbid there's a storm or heavy wind or tornado. I mean, you're going to be busy for a long.
And you know what helps us out is we got the fence inside. So if I got to go look at a couple jobs in the beach area, since I'll go look at a job, get the measurements and all that, and then go do a gate service call. And so that kind of completes the cycle of staying in the money profit side of doing 2 or 3 tasks. But if I don't have nothing that goes that way, you got to kind of hold your brakes on it unless it was a real emergency, then you can, charge double stuff.
Well, I think that probably wraps it up. I can't even get it.
About wraps it up.
About wraps it up, man. But just to remind everybody, we've got a couple of new videos out there at Two Smooth Operators, TWO Smooth Operators on YouTube. I posted probably, there you go. Who's number 1 and who's number 2 is all I need to know.
Oh yeah.
All right, we'll let
you have number 1. I'll take number 2.
Oh yeah. So the way you put it like that, man.
If any mistakes made, I was like, hey, you talk number 1.
Yeah, I've already pissed off enough people. I think we got the number 1 figured out. But anyways, so the videos that we got out, we had some in the field videos this week. One of the things that we were talking about, as I just dropped my mouse before we got on the video, was actually we got a pretty good performing video. Everybody wants these short videos. And we got a long video I put up there it's 15 minutes long, but it's pretty much about understanding some of the process about installing loops and how to get it done faster, and then what it takes me to install 4 loops. And I recorded the time from the start to the finished, and it seemed like it's done pretty good. It's one of our better performing ones. And then this week we also had some dorking stuff go out, and some other in the field stuff that have done pretty well. So anyways, that's what's going on that side. Anything else before we log off?
That's pretty much it, man. I think we covered a lot and talked about a few things, and I think we're good.
All right, well, let's close it out. Two Smooth Operators, we're out till FenceTech.